So my dear friends, this is it. We have one episode of The Acolyte to go, and in this video, some major rumours, a few leaks, a few spoilers, and we're also going to talk about a new reveal from StarWars.com. We're going to get into all of it, but before we do, my dear friends, could you do me a big favour? If you've not done so already, please be sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Daily videos, daily Star Wars news, lore, speculation, and so much more fun. Join the Megalorean ranks. We would be honoured if you would join us. But no more jibber jabber, let's begin. StarWars.com have been very sneaky indeed. We now kind of know where things are heading, and it all concerns Vernestra Rwoh. They've just shown off a brand new costume that she's going to be sporting. And massive spoiler, she's going to finally have to answer to the Senate. I suspect, given her knowledge of Qimir, if he was indeed her former Padawan, that she's gonna throw Sol under the bus and lie about what took place on Kofar, the fates of Kelnaka, Yord, Jeki and the rest. And I don't think Sol makes it back. I think he's gonna have to face Osha. But this article confirms Vernestra's role in the 8th episode is going to be absolutely vital. And a massive reveal, we're going to see the Senate. And I suspect, based on information we're going to talk about in just a moment, the mysterious David Harewood, who was confirmed for the show, is not playing a Sith, but the Chancellor during this time. All of the ones from the books, the High Republic phases 1 to 3 are dead, and so my bet is that he is the Chancellor during this time. As we found out in episode 6, the Senate is going to run a full investigation on the operations of the Jedi Order, so that's going to be interesting. Is Vernestra going to tell the truth? Is it going to be skewed? I think, keeping in line with what Leslye Headland said, the entire thing is a ruse to show the failings and the downfall of the Jedi. It's all a cover-up, but to what extent? These robes are Vernestra's Sunday best, and the article teases she knows more than she's letting on. They say, quote, "She has a lot of weight on her shoulders. She has a lot to carry and she knows things. She knows there's a lot of, the word I would use is a lot of duplicity in what the Jedi did in the name of protecting the Force. She is trying to manage and do damage control with the Senate. There is going to be an investigation into the Jedi Order, their relationship with the Republic. So Vernestra has a very important meeting with the Senate, and as Amanda Stenberg said, the final episode is where it all goes down. All the elements are coming together, setting up yet another demonization of the Jedi. We've seen a lot of dissent from the fandom. Many don't like this portrayal, and from the sounds of things, it's about to get worse. What is Vernestra hiding? Is she going to survive the final episode? Or is she going to confront Qimir? And are we going to finally learn his Sith name? From what Manny Jacinto and Leslye Headland said, it looks like many Jedi are going to die, but not the bad guys. And if Vernestra is preparing for a Senate meeting, could the final episode also give us the High Council and Yoda? But staying on the subject, some major leaks for episode 8. Now, given the rumours of the 7th episode's title were wrong, it's uncertain if the 8th episode is titled Doom, which was what came out earlier last week. Nonetheless, we have a lot of questions, and I think they're going to connect this most recent episode, episode 7, with 16 years later, in particular the connection between the witches and the Sith, and how they're going to frame the revelation to the twins. In either case, we do have a pretty jaw-dropping rumour, and this does come from a long-term reliable source, the same person who told us C-3PO was going to be in the Ahsoka show before it dropped, and the same person who's gotten other Acolyte scoops right. Well, they now say this, and I'm afraid, my dear friends, some of this is going to upset a big portion of the fandom. Some of it sounds intriguing, but if you thought we were done with controversies after Ki-Adi-Mundi, that's not even the start. So let's see what they said. I want to start with this bit. David Harewood is not related to the Sith in any way, and he's not Darth Tenebrous. He's only in episode 8, and that tracks, we haven't seen him yet. And when asked if he plays an important character, the source says, quote, "I'd say so." Like I said, could he be the Supreme Chancellor of the Republic? We'll find out in a couple of days. So here's one of the big bits. There are 2 cameos in episode 8, and they say they're so certain of it, just like the 2 cheeks on their... Write that down. This is a direct quote. So this is from their Discord. They say, "The ages of the 2 cameos are fine. I don't think the species are changed, maybe what the species looks like. Alright, so if it's Tenebrous, we can still expect a Bith, but maybe the way we expect him to look is different, or if it's Plagueis and it's immune, that might look different to the CG versions of immunes we saw in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. Okay, so now they get into more specifics of the individual cameos, starting with the first one. This one may piss off some people, though, quote, "It isn't problematic at all. Oh no, a character I like introduced in a show I don't like, therefore bad," for the first cameo. So this could be a character, like I say, one of the Sith, we might expect being around at this time, and fans who don't like the show might be upset they included them, with maybe no elaboration, just for a brief appearance. So moving on to number 2. The other is problematic for lore reasons, just the implications of what that cameo means to the lore. They just have to expand on it in a season 2, along the lines of, not an age change, just a character in a situation they shouldn't be in. That's a very intriguing turn of phrase. Do you think they're going to bring forward some of the expanded universe Sith from the Old Republic and bring them forward a few hundred years for Star Wars canon, a situation they shouldn't be in, existing in Disney Star Wars canon continuity in an entirely different period of time? This would be problematic in terms of lore. Some fans would welcome it, others saying it makes no sense. Let's just say, my dear friends, we're gonna have a lot to talk about after episode 8. And another big rumour, although specifics are not known, is the role of Basil. From the sounds of things, it looks like he's gonna have some role in the downfall and death of Sol. I really hope this isn't true, but something I do want to point your attention to is the fact Leslye Headland confirmed there will be at least 2 Sith that we meet in season 1, Qimir being the first, so it looks as though all signs point towards some kind of other Sith, the Sith Master, in episode 8. That could be massive. So now we get into what I call heavy spoilers territory. They play a game of 10 lies and 3 truths, a list of 13 leaks, and only 3 of them are true. Let's go through them. So the first one, Qimir wipes Sol's memory of ever meeting the Sith. I think this is a very silly idea if they go with this. I'm sticking with Sol dying, so this, I predict, is a lie. Number 2, Darth Plagueis is skulking around in a cave. This is the first one to me that sounds like it's a truth, so I'm gonna say this is the first of 3 truths. Number 3 is that Qimir dies 1 minute into the episode because of Osha not being able to control her Force abilities with a helmet. She manages to reanimate him though, giving him life afterwards. As strange as this might sound, it's very consistent with the kind of creative decisions we've seen in the first season, so this is a maybe. Number 4, Darth Ramage makes an appearance at Sol's death and funeral. This to me rings as too specific, unless they're trying to throw us off. And in case you don't know, Ramage is a Sith that's mentioned in the Darth Plagueis novel, but also the Legends book, The Last Jedi, not episode 8. Just like Plagueis and Tenebrous, he was a Sith fascinated by science. He performed sick and twisted experiments, so in that sense he might be the secret Sith, and he tried to perfect the ability to see the past, present, and future all in one. He even created a special holocron to augment his connection to the Force, one which later in the timeline Vader sought out. So Ramage, definitely a possibility, and as I say, if he does attend Sol's death and funeral, maybe he is posing as a Jedi trying to infiltrate the Order. Many others on this list do sound very unlikely. For example, I don't think Sol is going to try and kill both the twins. But one interesting suggestion is Sifo-Dyas and his clone idea, mentioned with Yoda in the room. Is Yoda one of the cameos? It could be the first one they mentioned, where they said fans will like the character but not that he's in the show. The final item on this list seems unlikely, but if you remember my theory that Mog might be an Acolyte, then it's not impossible. Vernestra killing Mog, the Padawan from episode 6. But what do you guys think of all of this? Are you excited for the finale? Do you think they're setting up a season 2? Leslye Headland did say, if she gets to do more of this, it will lead to Plagueis. Is it going to be too little too late, even if it's good? Leslye Headland promises the final episode is going to answer the question of how Mae and Osha were born, the origin of the science and manipulation of midichlorians that brought about the twins. So now that we've covered the main topics, I really want to talk about how The Acolyte, with just 1 episode to go, is nothing like it was marketed. Leslye Headland from day one said, this is a Sith-oriented show, and yet, with 1 episode left, we've barely seen the Sith. There's been 1, he's not been explored in every episode, and considering how much source material is out there for Sith lore, the fact this show's explored none of that is really insane. So even if we do get those cameos at the end of the season, is it going to matter to many? Do fans want a season 2?